I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all you. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. I want to spend my life with you. They say, sing, baby, since we've been together, ooh, loving you forever is what I need. Let me be the one you come running to. I'll never be untrue. Oh, baby, let's stay together. Loving you weather. Times are good and bad, happy or sad. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, the times are good and bad, happy or sad. Why somebody, why people break up? Oh, turn around and make up. I just came to see you never do that to me, baby. Spinning around you is all I see. Is what I want to do. You ought to stay together, loving you well.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246 CJ, Jacksonville.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis expected to announce on Twitter today he's running for president.
For the first time that something like this is happening on social media.
Twitter's Elon Musk speaking to the Wall Street Journal. DeSantis will then give his first TV interview as a candidate to the Fox News channel. Still no deal between President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to fix the nation's debt crisis. Texas Senator Ted Cruz.
You're talking healthy young men who are not working right now, conditioning their welfare payments and go out and look for a job and get to work. You are helping them.
The Republican on Fox's Kudlow, Democrats are against work requirements. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will speak on the debt limit at 10 a.m. Eastern. A Covington, Georgia police officer shot in the head. The gunman is dead following a gun battle at a motel. Police say the man opened fire on the officers first. Police say the wounded cop is stable. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Live and local. Real Talk starts now.
And right now means right now. It's 7:03, and welcome to the Live and Local Real Talk. We're here with you, and my name is Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And this is Wednesday.
Halfway through the week.
Day. There we go. And I got it right again. Are you guys keeping score here?
I am.
we
I'm
are.
impressed with you.
Okay.
We've been keeping score.
I wrote it on the wall up there every day.
Oh, we have a chalkboard right back here. We just look.
Do that too. But anyway, yes, it is Wednesday, and it's some challenging weather out there. Blustery for sure on land, and gale force offshore. So we'll talk to you about the weather coming up shortly. But anyway, it's a mess out there. And happy Memorial Day week, leading up to Memorial Day weekend coming here. And you can also tell it by the number of commercials we're running. Just in case you haven't been paying attention, there are a lot of commercials out there. So we'll be trotting through all of this today. I'm going to be froggy again
Uh-oh.
today,
Uh-oh.
and we're going to be talking about fentanyl for the first half hour anyway. And we've got a couple of fine guests coming in. Of course, Dr. Rose at 7:30, and then at 8 o'clock, a gentleman you've heard a whole lot about, and there are commercials on radio, TV, newspapers, billboards, and everywhere else internationally, because I've seen them when I've been traveling in another country. They're locally.
Yes.
Jerry Ensminger.
Right. You're going
started
to
it
hear the
all.
real story.
He started it all some years ago. What, in the 70s or 80s? 80s, I think.
It was his daughter passed away in 1985.
Yeah. So that's when it
and,
all happened.
At the age of 9.
Yeah.
And he retired from the military after that and was in, I believe, 1987 when he learned about the contaminated water at Camp Lejeune. And
It's about time we've all been hearing about it since the mid to late 80s.
right. And he started working with Senator Tillis, still to this day.
Now Senator Tillis.
Burr, Senator Hagan, and and as a result, the Janie Ensminger Act was named after his daughter. Was
Yes.
signed into law in 2012 and to provide
Finally,
health care to sick veterans exposed to contaminated water at Camp Lejeune.
veterans and their
Yes. Well, later is
Mhm.
when they rallied and worked at including veterans' families also that were affected
anybody
by
who
this.
actually worked aboard
Yes.
Camp Lejeune during that
Yes.
time.
Yeah, so he was the one that was instrumental in starting all this back in the day. And we're going to hear his story. And he's bringing in Mike Parton, who also was a victim of the contaminated water. He actually had male breast cancer, which is very unusual for males.
Oh, absolutely.
But he was born right there at Camp Lejeune. So,
My wife was born aboard Camp Lejeune
yes, I have
during that time.
my brother was born right prior to that time, but we lived on base
Mhm.
from during that time, part of that time
So did
period.
she.
So, yes.
She was born aboard Lejeune and lived
Yes.
aboard Lejeune.
I had a sister that died at the age of 2 from a lung infection at
Mhm.
Camp Lejeune. So that's something the family has been considering checking into also.
I would suggest
Yes.
they do it.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll be talking with Jerry and is it Mike? Yeah,
Mike, yes.
coming in. So that's during the 8 o'clock hour. You may want to stay tuned for that.
It's going to be very interesting.
There are no real stats available as far as the number of people that were potentially contaminated, of course, or that they've confirmed became sick as a result of. We just don't know how many. It could be in the hundreds of thousands or more. The number of people that traveled and lived aboard Camp Lejeune, the TT area, worked in the area from what in the 50s through 87, something like that.
Yes.
There's no way of knowing. There's no accountability for it.
And a lot of people are much older now. And like my mother, she had several bouts with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
She had several miscarriages during that time.
Really?
But she passed away at the age of 89,
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago. So
There's no way to
there's no way to attribute
verify
it. And
anything.
she did live a long life,
Yeah.
great life. So you can't go back now and say she died from the water.
Nope.
But
Can't prove anything.
had we known back then,
Mhm.
maybe some of the miscarriages, some of the female cancer that she had could have been contributed to the water at the
Yep.
time.
You never know.
No, you just don't know.
Our congressman here, 3rd District Representative, has written an op-ed piece for the Washington Examiner. I'm like, and there are a couple of quotes here, and I've asked you to pull up some information too, Kelly.
I've got some new right here.
He writes, Congressman Murphy writes, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Fentanyl-related overdoses are the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 49.
Mhm.
It used to be car crashes and homicides.
Mhm.
I mean, that was generally the case, right?
Yes.
This drug, he writes, has taken more lives than the number of U.S. military personnel killed during the Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan wars combined. No, it's probably more deaths than were taken than Americans who died during World War II, and that was over 300,000 during 3 years in combat. 300,000 Americans killed at that time. So we know 2021 to 2022,
Had
that
107,000.
was 107,000. The year prior to that, how many?
96,779.
That's 200. We don't have any clue how many between last year and now.
No.
Those numbers will come out soon.
But North Carolina, I'm going to use North Carolina.
Yeah.
We're averaging 2,266 a year. And North Carolina accounts for 3.22% of the nationwide overdose deaths. 3%. You think that's a low number, but you think about it, it's really
3%
not.
out of
Yeah.
50 states.
Mhm.
Wow. That's fairly significant.
It is. It's a big deal.
And we're not a border state.
No, we're not a border
But
state.
that goes to show what a lot of folks are saying. Every state is a border state
Mhm.
these days because it's coming across our borders too. How many in Onslow County? How many ODs?
Well, for this year so far, from January to April, and look, let me tell you, this number is higher because these are just the Onslow Memorial Emergency Department visits. Okay, from January to April of this year, there's been 52. There were 32 from
Wow.
January to April last year. Now, remember, these are people that actually went to the emergency room. But remember, when the paramedics are going out, a lot of times they're going out and reversing.
People refuse.
They're refusing transport. So these are people that actually went. Now, I've got even more numbers. For example, they're breaking it down. Now, I question a little bit of this. So, for example, February of this year, 27 were in February. 5 were classified as heroin overdoses. 6 were fentanyl. 10 were what they put commonly prescribed opioids, and 5 were unspecified narcotics. But what I say to that, I question the commonly prescribed opioids mainly because fentanyl is mixed in
with commonly
other
prescribed
things.
opioids.
So I'm really wondering, what's and they're not always testing for everything as well. I do know that. And xylazine is not tested for at all at most North Carolina emergency rooms, and the state's trying to work on that. Yeah, because it's about to be already becoming a huge problem in other counties. I was in a meeting yesterday. It's about to be here. I give it 2 months, and we'll see xylazine here in Onslow County.
We probably have it.
Yeah, we
But
just
you're just
hadn't.
not testing for it.
But it's
Okay.
it's already starting to be a problem in Wilmington. And once it happens in
Oh,
Wilmington,
God.
it doesn't take long before it gets
Watch
here.
out, Sneeds Ferry.
Yeah. So
Don't even want to walk through Sneeds Ferry.
it's going to
You
be.
might get it.
And xylazine, Narcan does not work on xylazine at all.
Well,
So we're about to have but
What-
52 this year of ER visits
at
is
one
a-
hospital.
is a
How
lot.
many? How many at Naval?
They
We
don't
have no
report.
clue.
Yeah, you can't get their
We don't
data.
know.
And the other thing is also that's 20 more than this time last year. It's a lot.
It's almost double.
Yes.
If you look at it.
If you really, it has almost doubled. Yes. And once again, let me be clear. These are people that actually went to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of all the visits of the people that had a Narcan reverse situation that refused transport.
And-
I've been saying all along, these numbers are higher.
And when you got the over the counter stuff available, or you can go get a prescription for
You're really not
Narcan,
gonna
and
know.
they're not going to tell you that they OD'd and came back, are they?
Well, I think the problem is the other problem I see happening is once the over-the-counter Narcan is available, people are going to be fooled into a false sense of one shot will work.
No, they will have they'll have cases of it available
I
for
don't-
their,
it's going to,
for
but
their little parties.
once again, I still fear that the pharmaceutical companies, this is a get rich quick scheme for them.
Yep.
They're going to make it where the people that need it, that are, aren't going to be able, no one's going to be able to afford it. It's like
Well,
the people that
those
can't
are the
afford.
people that will call 911. The other people are going to use it as a a part of the party.
Some will call 911, but the problem is too, when you've got a group of people, let's say at a house party,
Mhm.
and we have a Good Samaritan law and a safe to call law. A lot of people don't know this. So if you are, and this came about because people were letting people die of overdoses because they had drugs in the house and they were scared.
Yeah.
So under the North Carolina law, you can not be arrested for possession if you call. And let's say, I'll call and say Rayford just fell out from shooting up heroin, and I call and I have the heroin on me or whatever. I'm not going to be arrested. Where in the past,
Really?
yeah, that's a law now. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know that, because what was happening is people were having overdoses and they weren't calling because they were scared they were going to get arrested,
Why would they not be arrested?
because they want to, the way it
I'm
was,
sorry.
it was becoming such a problem. You have to think, what outweigh, do you want a whole bunch of deaths, or would you rather tackle that other problem later?
Well,
And they're looking at it as a
if we
tackling the other
take the
problem
guy
later.
down right now, that will prevent future.
Not necessarily though, in the way they look
if we
at it.
take him down,
Yeah.
he's done.
So, but what was happening is people were literally letting people die. So we have a safe law where I think it's the Good Samaritan law. Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like we're enabling. I
We-
see
we
both
are.
sides of it, but I just feel like we're enabling in some ways by, having this medication to bring them the Narcan so readily available.
And that's expensive.
Yes,
Well, the problem is, what is the solution? You can't make someone go to treatment.
exactly. I mean,
You
it's
just want a whole bunch of
two-sided.
people to die? You have to look at it both ways. And a lot of these people had become addicts because of doctors. Let's be real.
Oh, yes.
Well,
they've
some
got-
have, yes.
A huge number of
Yes.
people that are now using heroin started, and most of the time it's a car accident or a back injury. They get prescribed narcotics,
Mhm.
heavy narcotics for pain. They get addicted. These narcotics are you can be addicted in a week to them. And then all of a sudden the doctors this is what has contributed to this problem to begin with. They started taking the medications away, and the addiction doesn't go away. So that's why, heroin had, for a good little while, had decreased a lot. And then once this pain pill problem started, it's when it crept back up. Meth, while meth's always been a constant here in Nassau County, there was a short time where it was not as prevalent as now. It's everywhere. So a lot of this is stemming from, and it started with it's sad to say it did. That's why the doctors started getting in trouble. Look at how many doctors were busted
Yeah, and they should have been.
but they contributed. And the other contributor, I think, to the population is the VA, because they issue giant amounts of prescriptions
Mhm.
at once. They can get a 6-month supply of opioids
Oh,
at one
Lord.
time in the mail.
Lord, oh, Lord.
What do you
Lord,
think's
Lord,
been
Lord, Lord. They're
happening?
going to take it all in 3 months.
If that, some are selling it. I mean, it's just a mess. This is not an easy fix. And I think it's going to get way worse. And the problem is we don't have enough treatment facilities. Where are you going to send these people? You don't want them to use, where are you going to put them? There's nowhere to send them.
Stop it at the freaking border.
But a lot of it,
and we will be way ahead of the game.
some of it, but then you've got a lot of Americans that are cashing in on it too.
If you stop it at the border, they can't get in here.
Yeah.
Because it's all coming across the border. Every bit of it comes across the southern border. All the fentanyl.
Yeah, the fentanyl's coming from the southern border. Yes.
So that's
Mhm.
that's our biggest problem. Hey,
Mhm.
Tim, how are you?
Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing?
Well, good. How are you?
We alls be doing fine. Hope you are.
Oh, we are. We are. You're talking about the drug part, and it's everywhere. I mean, everybody knows that. I'm down here in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Oh, Lord.
Nice.
Yes, what I said. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Mhm.
I'm down here having to do some emergency work, and Cocoa Beach, you got to float alone to eat down here. I mean,
Yeah.
I do have an IHOP, a Waffle House, a Subway, a Dairy Queen, and that's about it that I can afford. Because the rest of them, you're gonna pay $30 just to sit down and pay. But anyway, I went into the Subway yesterday evening, and I wasn't in there but maybe 30 minutes. And you can look at them. I'm a profiler. Can't help that, y'all. Excuse me. But no less than 3 people walked in. And that's poor man's eating down here. And you could tell just as soon as they walked in, they own something bad.
Mm.
Either down or up or what have you. Even had 2 out in the park arguing. And they were arguing over drugs. Hey, you owe me this, or you owe me that. Hey, you didn't give me enough perks, or you didn't give me. I mean, you could hear it.
Yeah.
It's just prominent everywhere. And
It
I
is.
look around, and I've had people talk to me about pain. I said, well, I'll take a BC powder. Oh, my God, them things will kill you. I said, yeah. I said, but I've got 2 friends that were on top of the world to me. Very wealthy, according to me, my wealth. Very wealthy, prominent, great jobs. I mean, not jobs, they had business. They got hurt. And just like what you said just a few minutes ago, Kelly, it hit home. They hurt their back.
Yep.
They were prescribed some narcotics. The doctor cut them off. Well, then they went underground.
Yep.
And I found out one of the places on Highway 24 between Billville and Kenyville. They like to stop off and meet people right there.
Yeah.
And they lost everything.
Between Beulaville and Kenansville.
Yeah, on Highway 24. It's
I know where you're talking about.
They'll pull up right there. We call it Pickett's Hill, but they'll pull up there and pull over on the side of the road.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I found out about that, I knew one of the people that had pulled over. And I called him. I said, you broke down? No, man, I'm waiting on a friend. I knew right then what they were waiting on. It's everywhere. And like you said about Sneed's Ferry, to me, that's the drug hub.
It is.
One of the drug hubs on Onslow County. And when I was back in the 80s, the drugs were coming up through New River. And they would come in right there behind Court Street, and they'd be distributed out. And they would go to New Bern, Raleigh, what have you. I mean, that's not happening anymore. They're coming, everything, you got the fentanyl and everything else coming across the border. But it's just, if I take the BC, they'll tell me, well, you take BC? Yeah, but here's what my doctor told me one day. You're not going to quit taking BC because you hurt. I said, yeah, I cannot take narcotics because I drive a truck. And I make a homemade Percocet, and I've explained that before. And it helps. It's not narcotic, not habit form. But I hurt. And I go to a chiropractor, and they'll adjust me, and I'm good for about 3 days. And then I start hurting again. And people got to understand, I mean, they take the narcotics because they've been taken off of this. Then they, like you said, Kat, they'll get on heroin. Or they'll get on something else. I got to relieve the pain. When they're hooked,
yeah,
you're done.
Hooked. Yeah.
And it's hard to say. I mean, I've told one guy, he's talking, I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, well, go get you some help. And if you can't get you some help, and I know I'm going to get hate mail over this, if you can't get no help, get you a bullet. I said, that's the only thing I can tell you. You got to go help yourself. Nobody can help you until you want to help yourself.
That's
Pretty
true.
much.
Can't
I
make
said, go
anybody
get
go
you
to
some
treatment.
help. It's here.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
But I just wanted to say that. Yeah, I'm down here in Lord have mercy, Cocoa Beach, Florida. I'm working over on Kennedy Space Center.
I suggest
Nice.
what you need to do while you're down there, save a buck or two, go to your friendly Publix store. They got them all over the place down that neck of the woods, and get yourself a loaf of bread and let it get to be about a 2-day or 3-day all over bread if you can find some. That way it's a little crispier, shall we say?
Yeah.
And buy yourself a few maters and a jar of
Oh, yeah.
mayonnaise.
Duke's
That'll
mayonnaise.
get
There's one
you
about
through.
3 blocks down.
Yeah.
I've already scoped her out. Well,
Got to
St.
be
Diane,
Duke's.
when I go off, now she takes care of Tim.
Uh-huh.
Now, but she packed up 6 sandwiches. She got them in a certain type cooler she bought, and I brought them, and I eat 1 a day or 2 a day, whatever. And I go eat, and I got other stuff to eat. I don't spend a whole lot of money when I go out.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't. But yeah, it tickled me when they slapped me down here in Cocoa Beach. But yeah, we're hauling debris off the Kennedy Space Center down there. And, I put in an application for astronaut the other day. Right there.
How'd that work out for you?
They were looking for a redneck astronaut.
Uh-huh.
Did you?
And I took the test and I passed it. And they told me, well, when there's one question, everybody failed, but you passed it. I said, what was that?
How many teeth
He
do
said,
you
nobody
have?
nobody knew what gazetta meant. I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, I got that one. But yeah, we've been having a ball
How
about
many?
that running around here.
What was the question?
What does gazetta mean?
Gazenta.
Yeah.
Okay, you going to tell us the answer?
Gazetta, it's like 4 with gazetta 8 twice.
Oh, you're so ridiculous. I just can't. I just can't with you. I just can't with
I think
you.
it'd be fun to have a redneck up in space.
I think it would be too. I can see the communications. Thank you, Timmy.
Bye, Tim.
All right,
Bye,
be,
Tim.
Be safe. You're live and local. Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio saying, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DQ presents. Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
This Memorial Day weekend, are you ready to have some fun? Everybody scream, come on! Everybody scream! Freedom 97.1 WSME and 34 North present the 2023 Memorial Day Weekend Celebration. This coming Sunday, May 28th from 5 till 8 p.m. featuring Jim Quick and Coastline. Live and free! Live and free! Jim Quick and Coastline.
Turn me over and hourglass. Take me from the day and pour me the past.
Kicking off the summer of 2023 with the greatest music on the Crystal Coast with Jim Quick and Coastline live this Sunday, May 28th from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. with 34 North, your feel-good summer fun station. Freedom 97.1 WSME.
The Memorial Day celebration with Jim Quick and Coastline, Sunday, May 28th from 5 to 8 at 34 North, 1106 Cedar Point Boulevard in Cedar Point. Brought to you locally by these fine sponsors. National Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram, Peters, Thompson and Christian, Certified Public Accountants, Cedar Point and Jacksonville, Saltwater Pools, Jacksonville, Watson Matthews Real Estate, Emerald Isle, Sound Furniture, Cedar Point, since 1965, Home Connections, Beulahville, Waterway Realty, Swansboro, and Cedar Point Tire, Cedar Point. Mills International Incorporated, your local Cub Cadet dealer, is ready for spring, and you should be too with the Cub Cadet Ultima Series. These zero-turn lawnmowers are engineered for strength, versatility, and durability in one lineup with premium features engineered to leave you with a well-manicured lawn. Step up to the strength, comfort, and precise cut of the Cub Cadet Ultima Series and unlock the possibilities of your lawn. Head to your local Cub Cadet dealer, Mills International Incorporated, at 801 South Queen Street, Kinston, for exceptional offers, expert advice, and superior service.
A plan every adult family member should consider is the pre-arranged funeral. It's the worry-saving thing to do for your family. Making pre-arrangements helps to alleviate the additional stress on family members that can come with arranging a loved one's funeral. Jones Funeral Home's prepaid funeral plan helps remove confusion. They make a practical evaluation of costs possible, and it's the best way to take an unpleasant task off the shoulders of the family. Call Jones Funeral Home at 455-1281.
With locations in Jacksonville, Richland, Swansboro, and Holly Ridge.
Military Appreciation Day at Hammocks Beach State Park in Swansboro is Saturday, June 3rd from 10 till 3. This family-friendly free event is open to civilians, active and retired military personnel, and their families. Enjoy ferry rides to Bear Island. Hot dogs, pizza, watermelon, and soft drinks are available. Plus, children and adult activities will be on display throughout the park. Military Appreciation Day is presented by the Swansboro Area Chamber of Commerce's Military Affairs Committee and is generously underwritten by Marine Federal Credit Union and supported by the Friends of the Hammocks and Bear Island. Thank you for your service.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Doctors Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry.
Todd and Barry Matthews and the staff of Waterway Realty in Swansboro are honored and proud to serve all those who have served America so well. Serving Onslow and Carteret counties for 50 years, Waterway's staff is also proud to have professionally served owners, sellers, buyers, and tenants. Have a real estate question or need? Call Todd, 910-330-8659. That's 910-330-8659 for Todd Matthews.
Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, your trusted local carrier indoor weather team, serving all of your heating and air conditioning needs since 1967. Now offers residential and commercial duct and dryer vent cleaning, and now offers expert residential and commercial plumbing service. In case of a power outage due to a storm or for any other reason, be prepared with a Generac generator for your home or business. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning has Generac generators in stock, ready to install today. Remember, better breathing comes with cleaner air. Let Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning improve the air quality in your home or business with professional air duct cleaning. As always, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning is available 24/7 for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing emergency needs. Turn to the carrier experts, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, with locations in Jacksonville and Hempstead. Visit online, humphreyheating.com. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning since 1967. Relax, we're on the way.
At Sound Furniture and Appliance in Cedar Point, they are proud to have been in the furniture and appliance business since 1965, and their goal is to continue to offer the best products and services to their customers at exceptional prices. Whether you are furnishing your year-round residence, beach house, condo, or office, they have the furnishings to fit any style. Their sales and design teams offer professional and personal service with product and fabric selection. Sound Furniture and Appliance, 600 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, carries name brands such as Sealy, Lazy Boy, and appliances by Sub-Zero, Wolf, Code, and Hashizaki. Financing and local delivery are available. Sound Furniture and Appliance asks you to join them and remembering all our military men and women this Memorial Day, Monday, May the 29th. Sound Furniture and Appliance open Monday through Friday from 8:30 till 6 and Saturdays from 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. Phone 252-393-8130 for Sound Furniture and Appliance in Cedar Point.
And we're back
And we're
live
back
on Local
live
Real
on
Talk.
Local
We
Real Talk.
appreciate you listening in this morning. And joining us on the phone right now, Dr. Rosemary Stein. Good morning, Doc. What's up?
Good morning. It's nice to speak with you.
Yeah,
Good
same
morning.
here. We appreciate it. Well, there's Kelly. She's got a cough again. So you want to diagnose? Can you diagnose her over the phone? What's going on with her?
That sounds like allergies.
She's allergic to air.
No, it's my Sjogren's. My throat's dry because I'm having a Sjogren's flare.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like something dry on her,
Yeah.
in her, in her cough, and that's usually caused a little bit by allergies or the other things. But just take care of yourself, Miss Kelly.
Oh yeah,
We got
I know
this.
you always do.
We got the spring bloom going on here too, and there's lots of foliage in the area outside the doors here. I had the door open this morning. Get some nice, cool, fresh air in here, which it is, and it feels kind of good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, on the top of my mind is our supposed public education state of emergency.
Oh, we talked
You
about
guys
that yesterday.
What a crock!
Yes.
Yeah, I've always been an advocate for the money should follow the child. The family's paying the taxes, or we're all paying the taxes. Some of us are paying taxes for children, and we don't have any children. And the best way to be a good steward of that money is that the amount of money, which actually is closer to $12,000 per child to educate a child in the public school system, when private schools many times can do it for less. But right now what we have is what is that called? It's opportunity scholarship, where I think up to $5,000, maybe $5,500, was given to the recipients of the scholarship so that they could put their children into a private school. So what I believe the state wants to do is that they want to make it so that just about every child is eligible for that money because it belongs to the child. And we all know that education is the great equalizer. If you make the options for education great across the board, then so many of the problems that we have with illiteracy, unemployment will decrease or maybe even go away. So I cannot see for any reason that you would say that there is a public school state of emergency, except that you're trying to clamor.
It's a political ploy.
And it's a horrible one.
Yeah, I think the man is campaigning for the Democratic nomination for either for president or vice president.
Oh yes.
I think, yeah, and people who are fooled by his actions really need to take a deeper look at the subject. As our kids are helped by increasing or making better the opportunities for education that they have. And without doing that, then they're going to be stuck in these schools that they have no choice. No choice is never a good thing.
No, I totally agree with you. But anyway, anything in the health field out there otherwise?
Wow, that horrible C word is showing up again.
Really?
Oh,
A
no.
little bit. Yeah. So we have these little croppings of positive COVID. Not very sick, about as sick or less sick than the flu. I'm not seeing any bad consequences from the illness, but still, I mean, because of the memory that we all have of COVID 3 years ago and even 2 years ago, people are kind of scared hearing that you're positive for COVID.
Right.
So all those good things that we talk about. Make sure you wash your hands and don't touch your face, your eyes, your mouth if you're out and about and you're with somebody who's sick. But also vitamin D, vitamin C, sunlight, and we talked about the helpfulness of lysine. So these are all things that you want to bring out all those pills again if you can. But what I find so unusual, we're in May, and not only is the weather un-May-like, but the illness is also not very like May. So But what we can't do anything about that. All we can do is make sure that we take care of ourselves and our little ones.
Right. Yeah, I hear people say I tested positive for COVID. We talked last week about Lee's sister. She tested positive for COVID. She had no real symptoms of any consequence that lasted very long.
No, she had a fever for like 24 hours.
Yeah,
That was it.
but not really high. Not one of those 104s or anything like that.
It was 104.
Yeah, it started
Did it get
104.
104?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
then dropped to 102 and then went away and she was fine. But she stayed at her house and I stayed at mine.
No, that's a good thing.
That's
That's
a
the
good
way you.
thing.
That's the way you do it.
That's right. Thank you, Dr. Rose.
So talk on the telephone. You cannot get COVID via telephone. So anyway,
That's right. That's what that whole video FaceTime stuff is for.
Yep.
To check up on them, make sure they're doing okay.
Yep.
Maybe drop off some nice soup.
yes,
and
chicken soup.
Yes, it actually is very helpful. Your favorite movie and some chicken soup.
It works. I know that for a fact.
Mhm.
I've done it myself. So anyway, Dr. Rose, until next week.
Good.
And all of you have a very, very safe and pleasant Memorial Day.
Absolutely. What I was going to say. Happy Memorial Day, and let's be safe and remember what it's all about.
Yep.
Okay.
That's important too. And tell the children. If you have children, grandchildren, remind them Memorial Day is a good day to spend with family, but we need to remember what was sacrificed so that we could continue to be a safe and wonderful country.
It's not all about hot dogs and hamburgers.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great one.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you. Tideline Marine, your one-stop shop for all of your boating and fishing needs right here in Jacksonville. If you don't own a boat, you can get one new or used at Tideline Marine. They got some really cool boats down there too. If you haven't been aboard a Tritoon, I know everybody's seen pontoons, but if you haven't been aboard a Tritoon or seen a Tritoon up close and personal, George has posted some videos on their website, tidelinemarine.com. You can take a look at it. This is a boat that, it'll run 40 miles an hour. Not a problem. It's got 3 tubes instead of 2. That middle tube acts as a keel. Other words, in addition, it's much more stable than the traditional pontoons with only 2 tubes. Tritoon boats, they can fly. That's cool. You can pull tubes on it. You can pull water skis on it. Even people with a slalom. You've ever seen anybody ski with one ski, right?
I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah. How about barefoot?
Yes.
I've seen
but
it.
not intentionally, but yes, I have seen it though.
Really?
Yes,
I've seen a lot of people skiing on their butts.
I've seen that too.
Yeah. So anyway, that's not a pleasant experience.
Mm-mm.
Turn loose of that rope when you lose your skis if you get stand
But
up.
people don't.
I know they
I
don't.
don't understand why.
I don't know.
You'll get all beat up.
Yeah, you get beat up bad.
Mhm.
Anyway, check out the fishing supplies at Tideline as well. They got all sorts of lures available for pretty much anything that swims in the ocean or the river or the intercoastal waterway. They got lures for it. They got some shrimp, frozen squid, frozen finger mullet, as well as live worms down there in case you're of that inkling.
Nice.
Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. We do have a small craft advisory in effect, and it's going to last through tomorrow night. Gale watch in effect from tomorrow night through Saturday afternoon. Today, offshore northerly winds, 20 to 25 knots, becoming northeasterly. 15 to 20 late this morning and into the afternoon, gusts up to 30 knots. Seas, you ready? 5 to 7 feet, except 2 to 4 near shore. Dominant period 8 seconds. Sounds in rivers rough, diminishing to choppy late this morning and afternoon. Thursday, 20 to 25 knot northeasterly winds with gusts to 30 again. Seas still 5 to 7. The dominant period tomorrow is 6 seconds. And guess what the rivers and sounds are going to be?
Even rougher.
No rougher.
Mhm.
Friday, northeasterly winds 25 to 30, gusts to 40 knots on Friday. That's 45, 48 miles an hour. You got that? Seas
Super rough.
7 to 10.
I believe it. Nope.
Sounds and rivers very rough.
I believe that too.
There you go.
Well, today here on land, it's going to be mostly sunny, a high of 79. The gusts start today. Well, they were a little yesterday, but it's going to, continue with gusts today is 16 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 54. Not gusty tonight. Tomorrow, partly sunny,
That'll
high
change.
of 78. Yep. And tomorrow, the gusts are going to pick back up to 22 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 56, and the gusts are going to stay right around 21, 22 miles an hour. Then on Friday, good gracious, mostly cloudy, high of 71 with gusts super windy. Friday night, cloudy, low of 57. Doesn't even mention gusts, so it's hard to say. It's a little farther out. Then on Saturday, showers likely. Thunderstorms after 2 p.m., but a high of 76. 60% chance. So we'll see.
I'm going to have to tie my meters down.
Good to do
Keep them
something.
from blowing away.
Time mine down.
You're live and local real talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Sneeze Ferry LP Gas, 777 Highway 210 Sneeze Ferry takes this time to remember those that paid the ultimate price for our most prized possession, our freedom. This Memorial Day, May 29th, Sneeze Ferry LP Gas offers complete LP gas service for residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. They feature gas, fireplace, and heating appliances, gas accessories, gas water heaters, routed deliveries, budget plans available, and grill cylinder refills with a $5 discount for all military on 20 and 30 pounds cylinder tanks. Sneeze Ferry LP Gas sales and services Renai and Navion tankless water heaters. So, for all your residential, commercial, and agricultural LP gas sales and service needs, and for comfort and convenience, call Sneeze Ferry LP Gas, 910-327-2541. That's 910-327-2541. Once again, please join Sneeze Ferry LP Gas in remembering those that served us this Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th.
The spring has arrived, which means that concrete project on your to-do list is here. Mixed Masters Concrete of Beulahville takes this time to thank those that serve us for our most prized possession, our freedom. When it comes to concrete, nobody does it harder or quicker than Mixed Masters Concrete Incorporated. 3661 East Highway 24 in Beulahville. Whether you need concrete for residential, commercial, or agricultural projects, Mixed Masters Concrete Incorporated serves all of Eastern North Carolina. From driveways, patios, to livestock housing, concrete for outdoor kitchens. Mixed Masters has the concrete, and owner Scott Thigpen will gladly provide a free estimate. For on-site delivery, phone 910-298-6153. And they deliver on Saturdays. Nobody does concrete harder or quicker than Mixed Masters Concrete Incorporated of Beulahville. When you need ready-mix concrete quick, call Mixed Masters Concrete of Beulahville, 910-298-6153. Proud to be part of the continuing growth of Duplin, Onslow, Jones, and surrounding counties. There's no doubt about it. Some of the best pizza in our area is at Pizza Village, 811 Main Street in Beulahville. Philip Price and the staff takes this opportunity to thank those that have served and are serving today, this Memorial Day, May 29th. Dine at Pizza Village in Beulahville for true Italian cuisine and enjoy their daily lunch buffet featuring pizza, spaghetti, and salad bar, serving true Italian in a down-home country atmosphere. Pizza Village is open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and Sundays 4:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Pizza Village does have a private room for any holiday party or event. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years. Pizza Village, 811 Main Street, Beulahville, asks you to remember those who didn't forget us this Memorial Day, May 29th.
Peters, Thompson, and Christian certified public accountants with locations in Cedar Point at 708 Cedar Point Boulevard and Jacksonville, 328 New Bridge Street, takes this time to honor and remember the men and women of our military this Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th. Peters, Thompson, and Christian also reminds you to celebrate the Memorial Day holiday responsibly. Hello, shoppers. Take advantage of the following specials and many more at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store, where good things cost less. Down home, down the street on the Richlands Highway here in Jacksonville and Main Street in Maysville. Half-cut, bone-in strip loin, just $8.59 a pound. Boneless shoulder roast is only $4.99 a pound. Boneless ribeye steaks, just $9.79 a pound. How about whole bone-in pork loin, just $1.39 a pound. And 10 pounds or more fresh ground chuck is only $3.39 a pound. And Springer Mountain Farms Jumbo Pack Fire Wings, just $1.99 a pound. And remember, the beef and pork is cut fresh every day by the butchers at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store. And they use only the finest and certified Angus beef and Sanderson's Farm chicken. Over in produce, fresh Georgia blueberries, just $2.99 a pint. Local North Carolina grown fresh strawberries, just $2.99 a pound. Russet baking potatoes, only 99 cents a pound. Crisp and tender asparagus is only $3.99 a pound. Tomatoes on the vine, just $1.49 a pound. Green snap beans, just $1.99 a pound. How about sweet, genuine Vidalia onions, just $1.59 a pound? And tropical mangoes are only 99 cents each. And you get 2 8-packs of Pepsi or Mountain Dew for just $10. That's your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store with good things called Celeste. Down the street on the Richlands Highway in Jacksonville and Main Street in Maysville. Remember, say big with the pig.
Attention property owners, are you fed up with bad tenants, under market rents, and late payments? At Fountain Management, we provide unrivaled levels of expertise and all the tools and services you need to make owning a rental property easy and profitable. Are you ready to talk about taking the management of your real estate investment to the next level? Well, contact us today. Fountain Management, 910-455-1609. We will make owning your rental property simple and rewarding.
Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing specializes in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting. In fact, they paint most anything except cars, including homes, businesses, apartment complexes, decks, and they do minor repairs, wood repairs, pressure washing, waterproofing, and more, including storm repair and cleanup. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing, fully licensed, insured, and locally owned and operated by Roger Carroll Jr. References available and customer satisfaction is always guaranteed. So if you want to paint it, maintain, power wash, or need a new roof, call Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, and Power Washing at 910-939-0749 or visit southerntouchpaintingnc.com. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing salutes our troops and is proud to be part of the continued growth of Onslow and surrounding counties.
This Memorial Day weekend, are you ready to have some fun?
Everybody scream, come on!
Freedom 97.1 WSME and 34 North present the 2023 Memorial Day Weekend Celebration. This coming Sunday, May 28th from 5 till 8 p.m. featuring Jim Quick and Coastline. Live and free! Live and free! Jim Quick and Coastline.
Turn me over, and I will dance. Take me from the day and pour me in the past.
Kicking off the summer of 2023 with the greatest music on the Crystal Coast with Jim Quick and Coastline live this Sunday, May 28th from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. with 34 North, your feel-good summer fun station. Freedom 97.1 WSME.
The Memorial Day celebration with Jim Quick and Coastline, Sunday, May 28th from 5 to 8 at 34 North, 1106 Cedar Point Boulevard in Cedar Point. Brought to you locally by these fine sponsors: National Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram, Peters Thompson and Christian, Certified Public Accountants, Cedar Point and Jacksonville, Saltwater Pools, Jacksonville, Watson Matthews Real Estate, Emerald Isle, Sound Furniture, Cedar Point, since 1965. Home Connections, Beulaville, Waterway Realty, Swansboro, and Cedar Point Tire, Cedar Point.
Have you gotten your copy of Topsail Times newspaper this week? If not, did you know that Topsail Times is Topsail area's only local newspaper in print? Started a little over a year ago, we now have over 1,500 online subscribers and 5,000 printed copies that go out every 2 weeks. And we never charge our readers. Information should be free to our readers, and we stick by that. Looking for an idea for date night? Want to learn some local history? How about asking a veterinarian about your pet? These things and more are available in each copy of the Topsail Times newspaper. Want to get the word out about your business? We offer great rates for full color ads, and the online paper version is always included for free. Need help designing the perfect ad? We can do that too. We're always looking for human interest stories, so start writing. And we love local photos too. Check out our website at topsailtimes.net, where you can find out where to pick up a copy or check out our latest publication online.
This just in, I think there's been a prison break, and reports are saying it's the Scorcher. Yes, the Scorcher has escaped and is running rampant across Comfortville. Apparently, he's targeting innocent air conditioning units. Yes, and wait a second. It seems that reports are flooding in of unfortunate citizens feeling uncomfortable, hot, and in extreme cases, I hesitate to say this on the air, people are even sweating. Wait a minute. We're now getting word there seems to be some sort of disturbance. Oh, Bryant Man is on the scene, and he has apprehended the scorcher. All right. Tune in again for another tale of Bryant Man, always doing whatever it takes.
Call Down East Heating and Air Conditioning at 346-4311 and let them keep you comfortable this summer. Down East Heating and Air, serving our community for over 25 years. Down East can also help you with your home guttering needs. Call Down East today, 346-4311.
Good morning, you bad, beautiful bosses. This is Carrie Cobb, your boss mortgage broker from Empire Financial, NMLS 1987537.
And good morning, beautiful people. This is Donna Riggs, your local realtor, here with LPT Realty in Onslow County and the surrounding areas of North Carolina. Your boss tip for today is to stop renting and start owning, because now is the right time to buy a home. Contact our team and let us help you approach the home buying process the boss way by building opportunities through simple solutions.
Text or call your lender today at 910-382-2188 or your realtor at 910-340-0224. Empire Financial, NMLS 2108504. Equal Opportunity Employer and Housing Lender. Visit empirefi.com for terms and conditions. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
If you love ocean pier fishing, the Seaview Pier Motel and Restaurant located at mile marker 18, North Topsail Beach is the place for you. The Seaview Pier is a family pier complete with bait and tackle shop, rod and reel rentals, and accessories. The restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner and features a complete menu from burgers to ocean fresh seafood, straight to you from the briny blue. With the Seaview Motel right next door and the most affordable rates on the coast, you can make it a vacation or a weekend of Carolina pier fishing. It's all here, including the fish. The Seaview Pier Motel and Restaurant, mile marker 18, North Topsail Beach, across the bridge, just south of Seas Ferry. To find out what's biting or for motel reservations, call anytime, 910-328-3172.
If your plans include hitting the road this year to do some traveling, make sure a visit to Silent Service Center is on your to-do list. Travel safety starts with the tires on your vehicle, and a visit to Silent Service Center will give you peace of mind with the best value in all name brand tires and the largest selection of used tires in this area. In addition to quality tires, Silent Service Center is a North Carolina inspection station and does complete brake service, oil changes, and alignment service. Silent Service Center, 1707 Lejeune Boulevard, Jacksonville, and 108 West Main Street, Havelock. Phone 910-353-4760.
All right, we're back here for a couple minutes, and then we're going to have to do a Fox News break. And we've got a couple of very fine gentlemen that you've read about, you've heard about for the last 20 years or so. Made a lot of news, national news, international news. And you see ads on TV. Like y'all know, I go traveling down in the Caribbean. I've seen TV ads, even in the Caribbean, for this water issue that we have here or had at Camp Lejeune. And we're going to talk with a gentleman that brought that up first.
Yes.
He was finally recognized. He's been talking about it, had been talking about it for quite some time. He lost his daughter at age 9. She was 6 when she got sick. But there's actually a bill in Congress named after her. So we'll be talking with them right after the top of the hour. I got one for you girls, ladies. Can I say ladies or girls now?
You say whatever you want.
Is that one of those things that I'm not supposed to say?
Nicer than what you usually call us. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Here's one for you. A Michigan State University professor has been sued.
Why?
Because she forced her students to pay $99 each to her personal political advocacy organization, which helped fund Planned Parenthood and other left-leaning causes, which they claim violated their free speech rights. According to the lawsuits, Amy Weisner, she's a professor of marketing at the MSU College of Business, compelled each of her 600 students to cough up $100 a piece, $99 each, a membership fee, she calls it. You know what 600 students times $100 is?
But that should never.
Bucks right there. To join her outside organization called the Rebellion Community.
Nice.
as a condition of participation in her course. What's wrong with society?
Well, I don't like it when professors have students buy their books. I had quite a few that would do that. And a couple of times I flat refuse. Just
The court
because.
document says Wisner controls the rebellion community and used the membership fees to finance her own political advocacy and to support external groups like Planned Parenthood and progressive causes dedicated to dismantling oppressive systems. That's where we're sending our children,
Oh, it
folks.
gets better. While we're on this topic very quickly, did you hear about the Hunter College in New York professor?
The Hunter
That-
College?
It must be a small college. Threatened a New York Post reporter and photographer with a machete, caught on video holding it to his neck because she, it's Hunter College is part of City University of New York, and they fired her immediately on the spot. The college
You
did.
think?
There's a video, and there was a video out of her criticizing her anti-abortion students, and so one of the kids filmed it, or young adults filmed it because these will be adults.
You don't
So
want to
then
bring your machine to my fight.
She held the machete to his neck and followed him to the car. It came out, and
She
then
cousin of
What?
yours?
she was cut. I know, right? No, I don't know her, and she was she got violent with, or tried to get violent with, with the information stall run by Students for Life. They are anti-abortion activists, and she
I'm
had a fit
sorry.
about them. Yeah, but she's fired now. She needs a job.
Why would she have a machete in her classroom?
She didn't have it in a classroom.
Oh, where was
She
it?
went to her office or her house. The reporter
Oh,
did.
the
Yeah.
reporter did.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
She
well.
needs to take a lesson. It needs to be in the back of her car.
She needs to keep it in her car. Lady,
She-
get some.
She
Yeah.
also needs to get some anger management
She
courses.
needs a lot of things because she needs to understand. But this is what I'm saying. Like, just because these are her beliefs doesn't, you can't get mad at somebody that doesn't have the same beliefs you do.
There you go. You're live and local Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back with some interesting guests here in the studio. Stay tuned.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells a closed-door meeting of his fellow Republicans a deal is nowhere close on raising the nation's debt limit to avoid default, maybe in 8 days. They want spending cuts.
It is truly a spending problem.
But
they have yet to specifically identify anything that they would cut.
Montana Republican Steve Daines and Washington Democrat Adam Smith on Fox. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis jumping into the Republican presidential race today. His wife Casey posted a video teasing the announcement.
The Florida governor apparently choosing to make his announcement of a presidential run on Twitter during a conversation with Twitter CEO Elon Musk.
And that's Fox's Jonathan Hunt. That audio-only Twitter chat starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. He'll be on Fox at 8 p.m. Eastern. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1.
WSME.
It's live and local. Real Talk.
And we are back. And Lee, I'm going to let you do the honors since you were instrumental in getting these gentlemen in here this morning.
Oh, yes. Master Sergeant, retired, United States Marine Corps.
Yay.
Jerry Insminger.
Hoorah.
And Jerry was the one that initiated the fight to get legislation into Congress.
And this has been an uphill battle.
It's been an uphill battle all these years. In fact, he was just showing us pictures of when Obama signed in the Janie Insminger Act, and that had to do with the contaminated water at Camp Lejeune, and then showed a picture of the Water Pack Act that was signed, where Joe Biden signed it, and he was present for all of it. And so I'll let him tell his story about his daughter, but we also have Mike Parton, who was born at Camp Lejeune Hospital, at the Naval Hospital. He just showed us a picture of his mother holding him, and on the side table is a infant bottle of water. So, and Mike has a story to tell because he's been a victim of the tainted water. So
One in a million.
1 in a million is no telling. I mean, like, we all have our stories. I lived Twyla Terrace. My brother was born there. So
My wife was
yes,
born at Naval.
my
and
mother had a
lived
lot
there.
of health issues, but thank goodness she to the ripe age of 89.
Mhm.
So, and so Dad at 87. So anyway, we'll let Jerry start off and tell us how this all got started.
Yeah, Jerry, that's interesting. I'm still. He brought in an article here, brought in the paper from 2004 from the Washington Post, and as the result of a hurricane, basically Hurricane Isabel, in 2003, this article came about by the same reporter that was from the Miami bureau for the Washington Post. Is that right?
That's correct.
And he was on his way from Washington, from the Outer Banks back to Miami, and Washington Post made contact with you guys, and you met in the kettle in the middle of the night.
No, it was in the morning.
The morning.
First thing the next day.
Okay. So anyway, you had everything laid out for him, waiting for him to get here so you could show him all the information that you had gathered.
Yeah.
So, Jerry, let's go from there.
Well, Janie was the only one of my 4 daughters to have been conceived, carried, or born while we were living in base housing. We were living in Tarawa Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
When Janie was 6 years old, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And, you know, when you have a child that's diagnosed with a long-term catastrophic illness, you know, the first reaction is almost like shock.
Well, it should be.
And then, you know, you have to snap out of it because, you know, it's the helter skelter of getting them to a treatment facility to begin treatment to try to save them.
And you were active duty at the time.
Yes. And she was diagnosed right over here. And she was the first pediatric cancer patient diagnosed in the new Naval Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That opened in March. Janie was diagnosed in July.
Wow.
And after, you know, the shock and then the helter skelter, and then when you finally get a chance to settle down and think a little bit, the first thought that comes into your mind is why
and how. Yeah, where did it come from?
Yeah, and you know that is a question, a nagging question that stays with most people for their entire lives because it's a question you never really expect to get.
And what year was that?
Oh, that was 1983, 82.
And they still had not revealed anything about contaminated water. But did they know about it?
Yes, they did.
Say that again.
Yes, they knew it.
They knew
Wow.
it. Yes. And they did nothing about it.
Nope.
They did not alert everybody who had been there during that time.
No, they didn't even do that after it came out. They had to be forced to do it.
No, that was all because of a laundromat, right? A dry cleaning.
No. That was just Tarawa Terrace.
Gotcha.
The worst contaminated water system base was the Hadnut Point drinking water system.
Wow.
And that's the one located up there by the traffic circle. When you coming in from off base, you come up Holcomb Boulevard and you go into the traffic circle and you take the first right, like you're going to the old bus station or the Second Marine area or 8 Marine, whatever. And it's that water plant right there on the corner.
And so how did that water become contaminated? What was the source of that water?
Well, the source of that water was wells that were drilled all over Hadnot Point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even in and around the industrial area where they had been dumping and leaking stuff for decades and decades. And in 1972, they sent an engineer down from Lant Div in Norfolk to select 3 new sites for water supply wells for the Hadnot Point drinking water system. He selected the sites. He went to the Navy contracting office over in the industrial area and let out 3 contracts to local well drillers to come in and construct those wells. That was in 1972. In February of 1985, when one of those wells was taken offline after they finally sampled it, it tested some 28,000 parts per billion of VOCs from PCE, TCE, DCE, and vinyl chloride.
You know where that's the site for that well was selected, this so-called engineer? At the back corner of the base disposal yard.
Oh.
Lot 203, out along Piney Green Road when it was still a dirt road.
I'm glad that you mentioned the off-base dry cleaners.
Yes.
You know,
So I didn't know to the extent of this other that he just told. I knew about the dry cleaners.
and that, I mean
This is Mike.
This is Mike Bartain. So that legend, I'll call it a legend because legends have usually a kernel of truth and then a lot of BS around it. But the Terra Terrace water system was contaminated by ABC 1 hour cleaners.
An off-base.
Which was off base directly across the street from the water sources that they had installed in the 1950s along Lejeune Boulevard. That myth persists to this day. I mean, the latest.
That's what we hear all the time.
Yeah. Well, Fox News about a month ago said it in one of the broadcasts that an off-base dry cleaner was responsible for the contamination aboard the base. When you look at what occurred on Hadnap Point on Main side, to give you a couple things, the contamination point that Jerry mentioned outside the base junkyard was lots 201, 203, and outside the back gates was a wooded area referred to as the VOC dump site. And what they were doing is they were taking drums of spent solvents and literally kicking it over in slit trenches 300 feet away from where this well was located. It was the worst contaminated well on the base. And then during the course of our investigation in 2010, we discovered that the Navy had created an electronic password protected portal in which they kept all the documents from the fuel farm that had been in 1942. And this fuel farm, over the life and course of the fuel farm, received very little maintenance. We have an engineering report in 1980 where they came and said that there'd been no maintenance done on the facility during the life of the facility. So that's 38 years. Ooh. This facility leaked 1.5 million gallons of fuel directly into the aquifer, and it was being picked up by one of the wells on Hadnap Point. So we were drinking benzene fuel
as well.
And to give you an idea how bad it was, at one point there was an engineering report that came out in 1988 that said that there was a layer of pure product floating in the aquifer that was 15 feet thick. Jerry jokingly calls it the strategic fuel reserve.
Okay. And this stuff floats on top. It doesn't mix. It's lighter than water, right?
Yeah, it's an LNAPL. Yeah, it's an LNAPL, so it likes to float on top.
Yep.
But one of the problems, hydrologic, I can't say that word. The area where the fuel farm is located is actually a karst. It's a recharge area for the aquifer. And one of the reports is handwritten note that was made by a Lad Div official that the pathway is deep. We must pull reports and look at. But the fact that this 1.5 million gallons of fuel is hard to fathom, and you put that much product in the aquifer, it's going to get in.
Oh, absolutely.
When you go on the base, right before you get to where the main exchange is at, there's a road that cuts into the Hadnap Point industrial area.
Uh-huh.
If you go up there a little ways, you'll see the old concrete ramps where they were used for loading rail cars. There's no railroad tracks on there anymore, but right beside that is a pump and treat plant for the Hadnap Point Fuel Farm. A great big white plastic tanks sitting there. And you can see through that white plastic, the level, they're still pumping fuel out of there. And they've been doing it for years and years and years. They're actually taking that recovered fuel and they're selling it to a refinery. It's part of the Recovery Act. So
really,
yeah. But see, the thing about fuel and petroleum products, it floats.
Yes, it does.
These solvents are heavier than water.
They go down.
They seek out the lowest point in an aquifer.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that gets them moving is stimulation from something such as a pump that pulls them. And they are very, very difficult to recover.
You can't even put filters on it.
Well, you could put filters at the discharge point,
mm-hmm.
but it's really economically unfeasible.
No,
and
filters will clog up with that kind of stuff in it. I know from boating.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah. And your listeners, if they main road, when you get up to where you see a fence along the road, and there's the Wallace Creek headwaters is right there.
Mhm.
You'll see this the chain link fence that has these green signs on it. It says hazardous waste site, keep out. And when they come up over the top of the hill, there's a great big white building sitting there.
Mhm.
They've got wells drilled all over that plume in there. And they can manually switch on a control board in that building to change which wells pumping into that recovery plant. And they've got these big towers in there that's got these plastic balls in it, and they percolate stuff down through those plastic balls because it's volatile. It'll volatilize.
Wow.
And it's a pump and treat plant for that plume.
We've got a caller that may have a question for you. Who's this?
Hey guys, this is Steve. How y'all doing
Steve,
this morning?
how are you? You got a question? A comment?
I do actually. I have a question for you guest this morning. I'd like to say hello to them as well. Y'all were speaking about that water plant there right off the circle at Camp Lejeune, and it kind of sparked my interest. If you take that road right there on the left between the bus station and the gymnasium, and you go halfway down the block, there's 3 sets of barracks there. And I worked as an electrician on those barracks. So we started in late 87, 88, and 89. And I remember that they used to fill the water kegs up right down the street where they said the good water was at the water plant.
No. What year?
Is there any concern for people who are slightly past that window that they talk about
87.
drinking water right there?
No. The contaminated wells on Hadnot Point were taken offline in the early to mid 80s. I mean, 85.
Now, with that being said, the next shoe to drop on the Lejeune issue is going to be a thing called vapor intrusion. The vapor, the 1.5 million gallon fuel plume that we were talking about earlier, and also the solvents, when they get under buildings, they volatilize up into the building through cracks and crevices, plumbing openings, electrical openings, and so forth. And we do know that there was a vapor intrusion problem that existed aboard the base until the early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
We have people that have reported to us, was the Fleet Data Processing Center,
yeah,
where Sherry was, that were not exposed to the drinking water contamination, but were exposed to benzene fumes. And we know one case where a servicewoman worked in the Fleet Data Processing Center, developed multiple myeloma, which is tied to benzene exposure, but never drank the contaminated water. She died of that cancer.
And we have documents from the base fire department in the 1990s. They went in and evacuated some of those buildings in there multiple times because they went in there with their sniffers, and the fumes in the buildings had reached the explosive levels.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this issue has been a dogfight from the very beginning. Jerry's been involved in it 25 years, and he's actually been fighting this longer than he served in the Marine Corps. I became involved in this 16 years ago after I was diagnosed with male breast cancer out of the blue at the age of 39. And, it's just been one thing after the other. Matter of fact, 2 years ago, I finished my master's degree in history. My thesis was on Camp Lejeune.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is.
You know, but
scary, isn't it, Steve?
I was going to say it does concern me a little bit because I have crawled under quite a few buildings out there, and they're not clean. Them old buildings are kind of it's questionable when you're under there, and then especially in confined spaces, you do atmosphere monitoring, but most of the time it's just checking for oxygen levels. Yeah.
Well, we know the 1100 series buildings were the more problematic buildings that were, and these were situated over the fuel plume at the Hadnot Point Fuel Farm.
I got you.
Got to go back and check your work
All right,
records
well,
there. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, well, when they started describing, where I was at, in the late 80s that started making me go, And I remember that specific places, like I say, that's where they always went and filled up the water cave and, called that the good water. And I've kind of, the people I've worked with back then, I'm still friends with them, and we've wondered about that. It was an issue.
You were probably all right with the water. You were probably all right with the water because that had been taken care of and by that time. But, the other part that, like Mike is talking about, scary.
Still contaminants in the soil all around there, yeah.
All right. Take care.
Well, hopefully not.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for the information, guys.
Yeah. Let's take a real quick break and we'll be right back. If you've got a question or you've got a concern or you want to talk about this whole situation, feel free to ring us up 910-333-0139. You're live and local Real Talk. We'll be right back.
This Memorial Day weekend, are you ready? WSME and 34 North present the 2023 Memorial Day Weekend Celebration this coming Sunday, May 28th from 5 till 8 p.m. featuring Jim Quick and Coastline, live and free. Live and free. Jim Quick and Coastline.
Turn me over and I will dance. Take me from the gate and pour me to the face.
Kicking off the summer 2023 with the greatest music on the Crystal Coast. Jim Quick and Coastline live this Sunday, May 28th from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. with 34 more. Your feel-good summer fun station, Freedom 97.9 WSME.
The Memorial Day celebration with Jim Quick and Coastline, Sunday, May 28th from 5 to 8 at 34 North, 1106 Cedar Point Boulevard in Cedar Point. Brought to you locally by these fine sponsors: National Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram, and Peters Thompson Christian. Certified public accountants, Cedar Point and Jacksonville. Saltwater Pools, Jacksonville. Watson Matthews Real Estate, Emerald Isle. Sound Furniture, Cedar Point, since 1965. Home Connections, Beaverville. Waterway Realty, Swansboro. And Cedar Point Tire, Cedar Point.
Military Appreciation Day at Hammond Beach State Park in Swansboro is Saturday, June 3rd from 10 till 3. This family-friendly free event is open to civilians, active and retired military personnel, and their families. Enjoy ferry rides to Bear Island. Hot dogs, pizza, watermelon, and soft drinks are available. Plus, children and adult activities will be on display throughout the park. Military Appreciation Day presented by the Swansboro Area Chamber of Commerce's Military Affairs Committee and is generously underwritten by Marine Federal Credit Union and supported by the Friends of the Hammocks and Bear Island. Thank you for your service.
For 40 years now, people throughout Jacksonville and Onslow County have trusted Barnes Diamond Gallery for all their jewelry needs for every special occasion. They understand that every day is a special event for someone, whether celebrating a wedding, anniversary, birthday, engagement, or graduation. Let Barnes Diamond Gallery custom for you. Barnes Diamond Gallery does on-site repair in addition to their quality and selection of diamonds, diamond fashion bands, pendants, watches, earrings, gemstone rings, and necklaces for anyone for any occasion. Major credit cards accepted. Layaway available. Barnes Diamond Gallery offers appraisals and top market prices for gold and silver. Barnes Diamond Gallery, 461 Western Boulevard, Suite 120, Jacksonville, open 9:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday.
Fry Allstate Swansboro reminds you to check your mailbox and find your quote on homeowners insurance. Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro goes the extra mile to make sure you're in good hands, like helping you customize your home and windstorm coverage with their Write Your Own home policy. Yes, save even more when you bundle your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, and even your golf cart. Remember, if it rolls or floats, call Tammy for a quote. You and everything you own are in good hands with Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro. Call today, 910-326-5383. Tammy Fry Allstate, 638 West Corbett Avenue in the friendly city by the sea, Swansboro. Check your mailbox today for savings on your homeowner's insurance.
Spring is here. That means fishing and vacation season. Make sure your car or truck is ready for the road with a visit to Battlefield Automotive, 1214 West Corbett Avenue in Swansboro. If your check engine light is on, you may be looking at an expensive repair bill down the road, complicated by extreme temperature
hazardous means any condition, devices, or
Battlefield Automotive and Central Battery, Star, and Charging System, charge and repair air conditioning systems, and example of operations. They do everything from oil changes to brakes to transmission repair, and they carry a complete line of accessories. Battlefield Automotive are experts in both domestic and foreign car and truck repair, and guarantee all their work using only ASC solutions. So, whether it's a battery, a simple hose, tune-up, or just getting a ride for a getaway, call 910-325-0828. Visit Battlefield Automotive today, 1214 West Corbett Road, Highway 24 in Swansboro. Again, the number for Battlefield Automotive is 910-325-0828. Peters Thompson and Christian, certified public accountants with locations in Cedar Point at 708 Cedar Point Boulevard and Jacksonville, 328 New Bridge Street. Takes this time to honor and remember the men and women of our military this Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th. Peters Thompson and Christian also reminds you to celebrate the Memorial Day holiday responsibly.
The best deal for the grill is at Jones LP Gas and Oil Company each Friday. Every Friday from 8 a.m. till closing at 5, Jones LP Gas and Oil Company will fill your 20-pound LP gas grill cylinder for only $11. You heard that right. Each Friday till closing, you can have your 20-pound LP gas cylinder filled for only $11 at Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 Wilmington Highway in heart of Verona. In addition to saving money on your LP gas for the grill, Jones Gas and Oil is your full-service gas and oil company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural gas and oil needs, as well as gas appliances, LP replacement parts, fill cylinders, and tankless water heaters, and they offer a 10% military discount on installation. Remember to get that cylinder filled every Friday until closing for only $11. Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 the Old Wilmington Highway, Verona. Phone 910-346-6384.
It's live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
And I think we're back. Yeah, there we go. Well, Mike's cutting in and out there. I'll wiggle it. Well, maybe. Okay, it's working, I guess. Tideline Marine, your one-stop shop for all your fishing and boating needs right here in Jacksonville on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville, 159 Old Bridge Street. A great place. They'll be opening the doors in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So come on down. Take a stop by and pick out a boat if you want to. If you don't need a boat, it's okay. You can just want one. You don't have to need one. Just get one. Just want it and go buy it. Or fishing lures. They got lures for every flavor of fish out there, anywhere in the salt waters or brackish waters around Jacksonville, White Oak River, New River, the Atlantic Ocean. You should see some of the stuff that's out there. You can't go out there right now because it's too rough. But, when it's rough offshore, now's the time to go shopping. Get on by, stop in, see George and Elise at the crew there. Help you out. Small craft advisory in effect through Thursday evening through Saturday afternoon. Why? Because the winds are big. Northerly today, 20 to 25. Becoming northeasterly, 15 to 20 late in the morning and into the afternoon, gusts to 30 knots. 30 knots is about 35 miles per hour, y'all. Seas, 5 to 7 feet. Dominant period, 8 seconds. Sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to choppy late this morning and the afternoon. My mic is still cutting in and out. Thursday, northeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots, gusts to 30. Seas 5 to 7, except 2 to 4 near shore. Dominant period 6 seconds. Sounds and rivers rough. And on Friday, you thought this was bad. Friday, even more bad. 25 to 30 with gusts of 40 knots, 48 miles per hour. That's that's gale.
No one should be on the water Friday.
You won't be. You'll be bouncing. Seas 7 to 10 feet. This is an 8-foot sea ring. Imagine 10-footers.
No.
Want to go for a ride? I got my boat up. We'll take you for a ride.
We're not doing it. No.
You're not going to do it?
No.
You chicken.
I'll admit it.
Sounds and rivers very rough.
Today, mostly sunny, high of 79, with gusts as high as 16 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 54, no gusts. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high of 78, gusts as high as 22 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 56. The gusts will be around 21 miles an hour tomorrow night. On Friday, mostly cloudy, high of 71, with gusts Friday as high as 30 miles an hour. Take your hanging baskets and plants and wind chimes down. Just
Yeah.
go ahead and do it.
If you're not, they're going to blow
Yeah.
away.
They're just gonna, or they'll tangle up and or they'll fall.
I need
Yeah.
to put windbreak up around
If
my
anything, at least the patio umbrella, because
Oh, definitely do that too.
I have in the past had to go to my neighbor's yard to get mine. So
Okay.
I try to keep
We're back, and Jerry Ensminger and
Yes.
Mike
Partain.
Partain. Okay, gotcha. In the studio with us. Both of them are. Jerry, you didn't suffer anything personally, right?
No.
As a result of the water contamination, but you lost a daughter at age 9. A direct result of, no doubt about it, right?
Yes, sir.
And Mike, personal victim,
Yes.
male breast cancer. Very unusual, very, very unusual in itself.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's especially for a young man of 39 years of age who does not drink nor smoke. My doctors insisted that it was hereditary. And I went to what's called BRCA 1 and 2 testing, and I was negative for the breast cancer genes. There's no history of breast cancer anywhere in my family. And, you know, there was one statistic that I got from one of the epidemiologists that at my age at that time, there were like 13,000 men in the U.S. with breast cancer. And my age group at 39 was like, there was only 17 cases that were young at that age or younger. Because male breast cancer typically strikes men who are 70 years of age or older.
Right.
And to date, over the past 16 years, I've come in contact with over 125 men who share the single commonality of male breast cancer and their exposure to the contaminated water at Camp Lejeune. It's kind of, you know, when you said rare and everything, it's like, what contest in hell did I win to get this?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You know, and then, you know, that, to point out an issue there, which popped into my mind, is that you look at the people over on Hadnot Point or the Marines and their families that lived in Terrawood Terrace, and they're in right now in the process of doing the reviews on the cancer incident study for Camp Lejeune. And what people don't realize is that, yeah, the Marines, they got exposed quite a bit.
Right.
But in the long run, they would go on taxes out to 29 Palms. They would go on deployments over into the Med, back in the day, to the Caribbean even. The families were stuck there. They were exposed 24/7, 365.
Do a 6-month med cruise and
Now, it's not even, you know, the drinking water exposure is one part of it, but you bathe in it. And when you bathe in it, you cook in it. When you're heating up the water, you volatilize the chemicals out of the water. So you're breathing it, which is actually a worse exposure than if you were to drink it.
And dermal.
So, you know, like in my case, you know, my parents arrived at Lejeune in April '67, shortly, you know, after my father had graduated from the Naval Academy. And he taught the radio school at Mofford Point. And I was conceived shortly after we arrived, carried and then born aboard the base. Now, when my dad deployed to Vietnam in May of '68, my mother put her foot down. She hated Lejeune. She's from Canada, and told him that if he leaves us here, that she and your son won't be back, won't be here when you get back. They'll bother looking for us. And thankfully, he believed her and packed us up and took us over to Bakersfield, California, where my grandfather had retired out of Pendleton in the early '60s. And that's where we stayed. I never set foot aboard Lejeune again. But when you look at the exposures, the children, especially the ones who were conceived and born aboard the base, I mean, there's a cemetery here in Jacksonville, and there's a section called Baby Heaven full of dead Camp Lejeune babies.
Now,
And
I wanted to make one other point, is that this cancer incident study, that didn't include the dependents. That was
Really?
Yeah, because they have no records.
No way to find them.
Yeah, I mean, that only involved the Marines and the civil service employees on the base.
Right.
So the people who got the most exposure, and look at a housewife.
Sure.
Back in those days, there weren't any
24/7.
jobs available
Yeah,
out
they
here
stayed
for a
on the
woman
base.
to work.
Yeah.
They stayed at home. They
That's
were
true.
cooking, cleaning, bathing
Drinking the
babies.
water.
Yeah.
Washing the clothes in the water.
And they aren't included in this study.
Yeah.
And I'd say 30% of the people that were exposed and the highest exposures aren't even included in the study.
Well, Jerry, what made you start the crusade that you started to bring all this to light?
Well, I earlier mentioned that nagging question, why?
Right.
And after you watch your child go through hell, and you go through hell with them, and you know, I'll give you one, for instance, one incident that happened with Janie, and she had relapsed twice, and we had the patient care conference with the doctors about her end of life, and she was there. She demanded to be there.
Oh, my.
She was 9. So anyhow, one day after that, I was down in the parents' lounge at Duke University Medical Center, and I was doing our laundry. They had a washer there, and I came back into the room with the laundry when it was done. And Janie was sitting up in one of the their sunken windowsills in that new hospital up there, Duke North.
Been there.
And she was sitting in there on that shelf, and that's where I kept our laundry. So when I walked into the room, she was sitting there looking. And she said, "Daddy, I want to talk to you." I said, "Yeah, okay." So I put the laundry on the bed. I said, "What do you want to talk about?" And she turned around and was facing me, and she said, "I want to talk to you about my funeral."
Oh, gosh.
I said, "What?"
Brave child.
She said, "Daddy, I know what's going on. I've been through these conferences with you and the doctors." She said, "I want you to promise me that I'll be buried in Pennsylvania, where my family's all from." And, you know, when you go through something like that with a child, and then finally you get a glimmer of hope from a news article on local TV, and from ATSDR that they wanted to study these kids that had been conceived, carried, and born on Camp Lejeune. That was in August of 1997 when I finally heard that. She died in September of 85.
Wow.
And when they said that on the local news, I was walking into the living room with a plate of spaghetti to watch the evening news, and the reporter on there said that ATSDR had released their public health assessment for Camp Lejeune that week, and that they wanted to study the children, or take a longer look at the children that had been conceived, carried, or born while they lived at Camp Lejeune for birth defects and childhood cancers, primarily leukemia.
Wow.
I dropped my damn plate of spaghetti on the living room floor.
Sure.
I said, "Oh my God." It was like God opened up the sky and said, "Hey, Jerry, here is a glimmer of
the
hope.
answer.
Here's a glimmer of hope that you'll get that answer to that nagging question." And that whole day, or that whole evening, it was in the summer, didn't get dark till late. All my thoughts were about Jeannie. And that evening, I took a walk down through the fields on my farm up in Jones County. And I got down to the end of the fields, the end of the crops where the wood started. And I turned around to start walking back to the house. And it was like somebody hit me over the head with a 2x4.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh my God." The only reason I heard about this was because I retired there in the same TV market as Camp Lejeune.
Right.
It was a newsworthy item. What about all these other kids and families?
Moved on, moved away.
Most people that join the military or the Marine Corps, 80% of them do one enlistment and go home. Some of them do 2 and go home. So what about them? That wasn't going to be a newsworthy item in Rochester, New York, or New York City, or Philadelphia, or Minneapolis, or anywhere else. They weren't going to find that out. And all of them It's not all of them, but a lot of them probably had their own nagging question. What happened to me?
Yeah.
What happened to my loved one? I made my mission right then.
Good for you.
So what did you do next?
Tom Townsend and I teamed up. Tom was writing the FOIAs. I wrote a few. Tom was the real energy behind that. Tom's dead now, unfortunately. And we started. And the only thing we could do is just keep hammering away. I mean, it was like trying to climb Mount Everest. What is it? Everest.
Everest, yes. you
Yeah,
got it.
without any climbing gear.
Right. Oh my gosh.
But
Well, you flash forward, 10 years after Jerry found out, I'd just been diagnosed out of the blue. It was my then 18th wedding anniversary was the date of my diagnosis.
Wow.
And I underwent a radical mastectomy, so they sawed off half my chest. And the following month, I happened to be walking out of the doctor's office because they had to drain the fluid out of you and stuff like that, following the surgery because of all the damage that's done to your tissue. And I get a phone call from my father. And, I pick up and he asked me, where you at? And I said, I'm at the doctor's office. He says, well, you need to get home and turn on CNN right now.
Uh-oh.
And so I rushed home, turned on CNN, came to the top of the hour. And the lead story on CNN was Jerry Insminger testifying in Congress about the contaminated drinking water aboard Camp Lejeune.
Right.
And that they were studying the children born between January 1968 and December of 1985. My birthday is January 1968. I was one of those kids. I about passed out. Now, Jerry mentions, the Lejeune story here, it's well known here in Jacksonville. Well, my hometown's Winter Haven, Florida. That's where I grew up. After Dad got back from Vietnam, when he was due to rotate from the Pentagon back to Lejeune, he resigned his commission, took a job, and we moved to Florida. And, that's that. For me, Lejeune was nothing more than a thing you had to bubble in on the test scores and sheets in school and stuff like that. And it was long because it's Camp Lejeune or Lejeune, as it's said now. The only one that I heard say that in my lifetime was my mother, who's French Canadian. She always called it Camp Lejeune.
It should be Camp Lejeune.
Yeah.
In home français.
Yeah.
I don't see an R in there.
Yeah, it's Lejeune.
It's Lejeune.
So anyways,
but many years.
The Lejeune story, we didn't see it in Florida. No one ever called my house and say, "Hey, Mike, you were exposed." Be careful of your health. And it wasn't until we saw Jerry on TV that we became aware of the story. And that was 16 years ago. And we're still finding people that, because of the lawyer ads and things that have been circulating for the past 8 months.
Yeah.
We're finding out even today.
Let's take a break. And when we come back, Jerry, I want to talk about the lawyer ads. They're the lawyer ads, all the ads on TV. Some people need to be careful and be aware, right? You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WDSME, and we'll be right back.
To rebuild, remodel, repair, or do cottage or home improvement, 311B Bridges Street, Morris City should be your first stop. Williams Hardware carries power tools and equipment, chains and fasteners, plumbing and electrical supplies, along with Gerber, Buck, and Case knives. Williams Hardware is your helpful, handy hardware store. Williams Hardware cuts glass to size and custom threads pipe. When the chores are done and the cleanup is finished, light up that Wilmington grill from Williams Hardware. Williams Hardware, 3011B Bridges Street, Morris City, open Monday through Saturday from 7:30 till 6 p.m. and Sundays for your convenience, noon till 5. Phone Williams Hardware, 252-726-7158. Flatwoods Outfitters, 111 Second Amendment Lane, just off Highway 24 between Swansboro, Jacksonville, and Hubert, reminds you to remember those that didn't forget us and paid the ultimate price for our freedom this Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th. Flatwoods Outfitters is the most complete sporting and firearm facility in Eastern North Carolina, right here in your backyard, complete with a shooting range and instruction. Flatwoods Outfitters carries all major brands of shotguns, long guns, pistols, and ammunition. Flatwoods Outfitters also takes pride in helping you protect your Second Amendment rights and urges you to learn how to safely handle any firearm for personal safety. At Flatwoods Outfitters, you can sight in your scope, and use your shooting or archery range. If you're interested in a concealed weapon permit, Flatwoods Outfitters can help with that also. So, whether you are a sportsman or concerned about personal safety, let the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Flatwoods Outfitters assist you. For range hours, phone 910-353-7593. Flatwoods Outfitters, 111 Second Amendment Lane in Hubert, where they aim to preserve our hunting heritage, wildlife, and constitution. Flatwoods Outfitters again reminds you to remember those that didn't forget us and paid the ultimate price for our freedom this Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Doctors Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan office of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry. Mohawk All Pet Protection and Warranty is the only carpet protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Because your pets are family members too. No matter how you live, we've got you covered. Soft, luxurious, smart strand, forever clean carpet. Gorgeous, durable, solid tech, luxury vinyl tile. Mohawk has the ultimate floor for every room in your home. It's suitable for all pets. For details, contact Watkins Floor Covering online at watkinsnewfloor.com. Watkins Floor Covering, thanking you for voting them the best of the best for 2022 in the flooring, covering, and carpet cleaning category. Watkins Floor Covering. They're more than just floors. It's custom showers, custom tubs, carpet cleaning, backsplashes, bathrooms, commercial, retail, and home flooring too. Watkins Floor Covering. Family owned and operated since 1997 with locations in Jacksonville and Surf City. Watkins Floor Covering. You stand on it, we stand behind it. Summer vacation season is here, and if you need automotive service before hitting the highways or just regular maintenance, Cedar Point Tire, the best automotive shop in Cedar Point, is here for you. Cedar Point Tire is more than just a tire store. They offer fast auto service from tune-ups to flat tire repair and all alignment and suspension service. Cedar Point Tire carries all the major name brand tires, so they likely have your preference. It's simple. For all automotive service and tires, call 252-393-3188 or visit Cedar Point Tire, the best automotive shop in Cedar Point, 1083 Cedar Point Boulevard. Cedar Point Tire. Come ride with us.
When you need comforting, who do you call? An old friend, right? Jacksonville Heating Contractors services the heating and cooling needs of our area with dependable quality train systems, guaranteeing indoor comfort for your home or business. In addition to quality train systems, Jacksonville Heating Contractors offers 24 emergency service, NATE certified technicians, and over 50 years of experience and service you can trust. And with a Jacksonville Heating Contractor Service Agreement, you never pay retail for heating or cooling services and receive priority scheduling. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And in New Bern, you can call Trent Heating and Air Conditioning 252-633-2200. In Morehead City, Sea Air Heating and Cooling 252-247-1122. If you need service or repairs, just call an old friend. Jacksonville Heating Contractors, an independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. For deals on train systems and more, visit anoldfriend.com or call 910-347-2843.
At Sound Furniture and Appliance in Cedar Point, they are proud to have been in the furniture and appliance business since 1965, and their goal is to continue to offer the best products and services to their customers at exceptional prices. You are furnishing your year-round residence, beach house, condo, or office, they have the furnishings to fit any style. Their sales and design teams offer professional and personal service with product and fabric selection. Sound Furniture and Appliance, 600 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, carries name brands such as Sealy, Lazy Boy, and appliances by Sub-Zero, Wolf, Code, and Hashizaki. Financing and local delivery are available. Sound Furniture and Appliance asks you to join them in remembering all our military men and women this Memorial Day, Monday, May the 29th. Sound Furniture and Appliance, open Monday through Friday from 8:30 till 6 and Saturdays from 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. Phone 252-393-8130 for Sound Furniture and Appliance in Cedar Point.
And we are back. We are back in studio. Still we have Jerry and Finger and Mike Fun content. I'll get it sooner or later. Just got to get all the buttons pushed up. What's that?
I hear it. I can hear it all over here.
What
That's
is-
good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good now. It might have been when he
when
had.
I can put you hear an echo there for just a second, but that's just off air.
make
That's
sure
not
we're
that's
on
not
the
going
air.
on the air.
Right. Okay, we're good. I'm like, I don't know.
It's confusing sometimes when you're listening to headphones in here. You've got an event tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
You're
we're
serving
having-
food.
Yeah, having a breakfast,
Uh-huh.
free breakfast.
For?
Huh?
For who?
For anybody that was exposed at Camp Lejeune or anybody that wants to learn more information.
Okay.
Come by. It's 2200 Gum Branch Road, Suite G. It's right next to the Food Lion. It's the Henson and First Law
Okay.
Office.
Okay, that's cool. That's good. So if you want some breakfast, come on by. You want to get more information. That's the most important part. Come on by and see that. You also have a website.
Yes.
Yes.
CampLegeuneLegal.com.
Okay. Now, a little bit about legal. Like I say, even down in Bonaire where I go and other places that I've been, international TV, I'm seeing ads for lawyer this and lawyer that. There are about 1 billion lawyers out there running ads. I think I've counted most of them. So there's close to 1 billion. What should people be concerned about before responding to some of those ads?
Well, the legitimacy of them. And, take a look at, what they're charging as far as lawyer fees go. I mean, they have to tell you that up front.
Yeah.
And then you have to sign a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And, the standard in North Carolina is like 33.3%.
Correct.
But the way this bill was written, somebody had the lawyer fee caps taken out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it passed that way. And now Congress is looking and going back and putting caps on it. And, the Federal Tort Claims Act says 25% or 20%. If it's 20%, that's where it's settled out of court. If it has to go into court, it's 25%. Now Congress has taken a look at of 25% if it doesn't go to court and 33 1/3 if it does. Anything over 33 1/3 in my estimation is
a
pure
ripoff.
It's pure greed.
Oh, yeah. Some of these are charging 40, 45%.
Well, what people don't understand, see that percentage comes right off of the top of the settlement.
Right.
Then they nickel and dime you.
Yeah.
With administrative fees.
Yeah.
And
Paper,
then
pencils, phone calls,
letters.
Yep.
And then expert witnesses.
Oh, okay. So
And-
you got to pay for your witnesses too, their witnesses.
Yeah. But see, good law firms spread load the cost of those expert witnesses across all their clients.
Mhm.
The unscrupulous ones charge everybody the full price.
The shysters.
Yeah. Now, I spent the last part of my professional career with as an adjuster, as a litigation manager. So, like, if your dog bit somebody and then you got sued, I was the one that worked on behalf of the insurance company and your attorney to get that process. So I've dealt with the plaintiff's attorney for bar for quite a while. And when you ask about shysters and the things that are going on, there's a lot of this is the dollar amount that's involved with the Lejeune litigation is going to be a windfall for the attorneys and their firms and stuff like that. And it brings out the best and also the worst, just like human nature. And when you're dealing with people, and especially dealing with a law firm, talk to somebody live. I would be hesitant to call into a call center and sign up with somebody that I heard on the TV. I would want to go down and meet them, talk to them. That's one of the reasons why Henson First and Camp Lejeune Legal opened up an office here in Jacksonville, is so you can go talk to someone live and see what they know. Because that's the other thing is the Lejeune issue is a complex issue, and the story's been going on for decades, and even now we're still finding bits and pieces. Like Jerry and I talked about the potable water regulations for decades. The Marine Corps said there were none. we found their own internal potable regulations dating back to 1963, which govern how they're supposed to maintain and service the water. So when you're dealing with the attorneys, it's the same thing. What do they know? What are they doing to educate themselves? And then also read the fine prints. If you sign a contract, what are the terms of the contract? Understand what you're signing. Just don't trust, and give blind trust over to somebody and be victimized all over again.
If you're a victim and you want an attorney to represent you, all these promises they make you, tell them to put it in writing.
Yes.
And sign it.
Yes.
Because if they don't, if you're going to go follow them on good faith, well, good luck.
And Jerry and I interviewed, when we were going through our process of selecting attorneys for our personal cases, we interviewed like 9 or 10 different firms. And when we settled on the firm that we're with now, one of the things that really impressed us is that the attorney, met us in person. We interviewed with them and talked to them. And he asked Jerry, "Can you get me aboard the base?"
Really?
And
That's good.
Yeah, that was, in the 16 years I've been involved in this fight, that was the first time an attorney had ever asked to come see the base and see the contamination sites where people lived. And, being a history major and, I love military history. One of the things, you can't really understand a battlefield until you walk the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And Lejeune's no different. You can't understand a crime scene until you actually go to the scene and see, the VOC dump site outside well 651, ABC dry cleaners across the street from well TT26.
I'm a big fan of the TV program Law and Order.
Yeah.
I loved it. So this is a question I ask to all these people when we do town hall meetings and stuff, and I'm speaking to a group. How many of you watch Law and Order or any of these other legal programs? And how many lawyers do you know of that's going to represent somebody in a court of law that never goes to the crime scene, for God's sake?
Yep.
How are you going to represent your client?
That's right.
The only, as a former cop, I don't ever remember, because I processed crime scenes too for 3.5 years of that 18 years. I don't remember a lawyer ever coming out there, none while I was there,
Yeah.
or in any follow-ups. I do know a lot of district attorneys, the prosecutors would show up at the crime scene representing the state. That was common. But those representing the clients,
Defense attorneys.
uncommon.
Yeah.
Very
Really?
uncommon.
They don't even come to the crime scene?
No.
Wow.
No.
Somebody needs fired.
Yeah. Well, occasionally a really good one will have a private investigator on board, and they will go after the fact to do his or her assessment of the crime scene. Those are the good lawyers.
Yeah.
All the time.
We took ours aboard the base and showed them all the sites. And since then, we actually been asked by several other firms to bring attorneys, and we've done a couple of tours.
Because I embarrassed them.
Those will be the good attorneys.
Do you know, I got one quick question. Do you know if there's going to be further studies done on dependents? If anyone is studying, is
They don't have
anyone?
the problem with the dependents is, like Jerry is saying, and I'm the case in point, once we left Lejeune, we went to small town America and spread all over the country.
Everywhere.
Florida, to give you an idea, is second to only North Carolina with the number of Camp Lejeune registrants that are registered with the Marine Corps.
Is there no database where people can go and say, "Hey, I was at Lejeune during
You can
this
sign
time"?
up for the
Well, there is a registry. The only registry
Yes.
that I know of is an informational registry that the Marine Corps maintains. There's 285,000 people that are registered on that. But it's more or less just a propaganda arm for the
Yeah,
Marine Corps.
I'm
They
not
send
talking
you
about something like
letters
that.
every
Yeah,
once in a while. That's it.
But
There's no registry.
no group has
That's the-
started
that's the only.
quote a list or a database of the dependents. Because these commercials, I've been in other states and seen the commercials. Were you there? Call this lawyer. But why not some kind of nationwide commercial? If you were there, this is who you let know you were there. Because some people that were there for a brief time, like you, and came up with illnesses, may not know to tie it back to that.
Well,
But the way the government works, and then they commit to do these studies,
Mhm.
they've got to have an official source of information. It just can't be
That's
hearsay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
The-
with that.
the
You know,
registration.
And when you look at
and you know, when you're looking at going back to the notification
Mhm.
of how these people got notified, when I first started into this notification thing, I was getting all this pushback saying, oh, well, there's no way that we could track all these people down, even the Marines. And I had a meeting with Elizabeth Dole when she was still a senator.
Right.
And she goes, oh, no, Mr. Ensminger. She said, there's no way that we could, track all these people down. I said, wait a minute, Senator.
Mhm.
I said, I'll be damned. I said, if I owe the federal government money,
You will
You will
find
find
the
it.
IRS will track me down. And she
That's
said, oh
right.
my God, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened.
I'll tell you
Wow.
what, they tracked a mad cow from England
Mhm.
into
Yeah.
Canada.
Correct. They
One
can
with
find
mad
Yes.
one mad cow disease
Right.
cow came from England. They tracked him down in Canada. Give me a break.
Well, that's how I
Well,
know
one
the
thing
families
that I
can be
want to
tracked.
point out before we get off the subject, when you're talking about the dependents,
Mhm.
the only records that are aboard the base or detail who was aboard the base is the sponsor's military records.
Mhm.
When you look through my father's military records, there's no mention of Lisette Partain, my mother,
Mhm.
or Michael Partain. We're not there. The only reason we can justify or show we're there is on the records my dad was afforded married housing at Terra Terrace.
Mhm.
So we have that. Then, of course, I have my birth
You
certificate.
have your birth certificate.
That's
yeah.
it. There's
Okay.
nothing else.
We do have a caller. I think it's Michael. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Rayford, real quickly. When I was with the Daily News, I had the opportunity and privilege to have a tour of Camp Lejeune with Jerry Emsinger. He drove me, Lindell, and Francine around to all those sites you just mentioned. We wrote several stories about it, and I wrote a column in the Sunday paper about my experience with Jerry. Monday, Camp Lejeune called our editor and said, the next time you want to tour Camp Lejeune, we'll be glad to give it to you. Don't go with Jerry. They were kind of upset that President Emsinger allowed us to take a tour of the base with his insight. It was
Well,
very interesting.
people like you and I have ticked them off on more than one occasion, Michael.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mike, after that, any media sources that came down to wanted to take a tour of the base, they said, we'll allow you and your film crew in, but if Jerry Ensminger's with you, we will deny your access to the base. We can't deny Jerry because he's retired,
Yep.
but we'll deny you access to the base.
And one final thing, if I could, Rayford.
Yes.
You got the Jerry and Mike, you have to continue to tell this story because there's people out there that don't know.
Yeah.
When we did that 3-part stories, we reached out to Nancy Daniels, and she gave birth to 3 children in 63, 66, and 70. None of them came home. They all died, and they're
Oh,
buried
wow.
side by side in the Jacksonville Cemetery. She comes up Easter and Christmas.
I met with her in Gallivants Ferry, South Carolina, in her living room just
Sad.
a few months ago.
Thanks,
Very
guys.
sad.
Hey, Michael, thank you.
Hey, take care.
Gentlemen,
Yeah. Thank you.
it's been a pleasure.
It has been. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry you have to be here under these kinds of
I agree.
circumstances,
Yeah.
but thank you for singing and letting the world know.
Mhm.
There are, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of individuals who could have been impacted as a result of their time aboard Lejeune during that period of time. And for our government, then the Marine Corps, to be in a state of denial for all those years
Mhm.
and then trying to hide it, like Michael said, like you've said, it's just wrong.
Well, you know, I had my hands in the training of over 2,000 new Marines as a drill instructor at Parris Island. And what bothers me the most is that you hear all of these mottos and slogans, you know, Semper Fidelis, which
Right.
means always faithful, or we take care of our own. And I instilled those into these new Marines that I trained. And to see them, those being violated by the highest echelons of leadership in the United States Marine Corps pissed me off.
Good.
You know, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Always faithful to who? Only does that go up, not down? And we take care of our own. Unfortunately, I discovered that the only way they take care of their own is if you force them to.
True.
Well, glad you're the force.
I agree.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
one last thing, for those that want to find more information about the contamination events and what transpired aboard Camp Lejeune, if you go to the CampLejeuneLegal.com website, and the drop down, there is a link to the timeline that Jerry and I put together. That timeline
I
is
just shared that.
Yeah, it's the most comprehensive and detailed account of what transpired aboard the base. And when you look on the link, the link actually takes you to our page called The Few, the Proud, the Forgotten. And you'll see Marine Corps timelines over the past 20 years or so. I invite you to read those and go back and read the Camp Lejeune timeline. And don't trust me. If you look at the bottom of each link or each entry, there's a link you can click and pull up the actual document that I'm referring to in the timeline entries.
I just shared that to our video on both YouTube and Facebook, but I will also make a post on that later and share that website.
And lastly, we do have there's a documentary that came out about 12 years ago now? Yeah, 12 years ago, called Semper Fi, Always Faithful.
Yes.
It followed a lot of our early part of the fight. Tom Townsend's in there, Jerry's in there, myself, and how this has been. It details how this has been a dogfight from the very beginning. And you can find it's still out on the net. You can find it, I think, on Amazon Prime.
Okay, gentlemen,
you.
again, thank you. And for you folks out there listening, we're running a little bit late, so I'm going to have to manually run a couple commercials here, but and there, don't go away. We won't be back. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Have a great rest of your day and be safe.
Dogs sound like this? Does it look about the same? Then take your big dog to Bill's Cycle Salvage.
Captain America, I'm Billy.
Now, we never said Bill was a sane man. But he sure has some cool stuff like leather chaps, vests, and jackets.
Oh, I've got a helmet.
Accessories for you and your bike, saddlebags, seat jewelry, keychains.
These ain't no pork chops. These are U.S. prime.
Bill can even order customized items.
I think I'll order kidneys because I left mine out there on the road somewhere.
Magazines, videos, t-shirts, ball caps. Come on into Bill's Cycle Salvage, 921 Marine Boulevard. Everyone is welcome.
Troublemakers.
Bill's got plenty of accessories. Big dog look like a big dog. Sure, you can buy the parts at Bill's for Harley and try to fix it yourself, but
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel like it? Well, do you, punk?
Bill's Cycle Salvage, 921 Marine Boulevard for the Harley enthusiasts.
That's what it's all about.
Have you gotten your copy of Topsail Times newspaper this week?